there comes a point in your life, right, when shrinking does not feel safe anymore or feel like you anymore. It feels like you're shrinking yourself to be fit into something that wasn't meant for you. When you realize that making yourself smaller isn't protecting you, it's erasing you. Welcome back to season 2 of Unscripted Rebirth with me, your host, Pretti-Ana. And this season, we're going to declare ourselves by not shrinking anymore to fit into small spaces. Outgrowing that old version of yourself isn't dramatic, it's quiet. It happens when what you used to fit no longer feels honest. When old habits, old roles, old dynamics feel right, but not right for you. It makes your spirit feel tight in a confined space. Just want to tell you that you don't outgrow them because you're better than who you were. You outgrow them because you're becoming more truthful to yourself. And shrinking was never humility, right? It was a facade of dressing up to show politeness, right? And I shrank in rooms where I felt powerful. I softened my voice so others could stay comfortable. I hid my confidence so I wouldn't be labeled too much. And I know a lot of us experience that, right? Going to places, going to events, going into a group where they're having a conversation and you have your opinion. But due to the fact that you're used to that person's always saying that you're too you're too much rather, and you're taking over the conversation. So you just stay to yourself and you don't. I have a strong spirit, and when I'm talking, I talk very passionately. And some persons find it very defensive or offensive rather. And because even so, I can look back at a situation online and I voice my opinion on a specific topic. It's my opinion, and I clearly stated that I'm not giving professional guidance or even, I'm not even a therapist. And I found the person backlashing and saying all kind of criticism. But for some reason, back then I used to find it offensive and shrink and don't want to come out anymore and voice my opinion. But I find myself smiling at these comments because some of these comments are coming from persons who are lost and shrinking themselves to fit into a trend. And with them to fight me down and call me down based on my opinion. And I even find one of the comments very funny and ridiculous, but I didn't want it to add, what do you call it now, fuel to the fire. I just deleted the comment. And that comment was that the man was saying, I need therapist because I'm being feminist. And I was going to answer that man and probably say to him something very rude, but I didn't want it to stoop to his level of communication because I realized not everybody has the intellectual capacity to have an open mind to certain things. They're so narrow minded, so they shrink and they voice their own fear onto others. But I'm just here to tell you guys, don't be afraid to voice your opinion because you have very few persons out there who like persons who are vocal and look up to you. Minority rather, who has all the negative things to say. You just leave them alone because they have a sad, pathetic life. Because if they had something more entertaining and not sad and pathetic, honestly, they wouldn't be busy wobbling up in your life or what you have to say. Simply, my mom used to say this thing to me. If you don't have nothing good to say, just shut your damn mouth. But yeah, so choosing visibility is not about being seeking attention. It means you're no longer willing to betray yourself for acceptance. It means allowing your truth, your voice, your presence to take up the space it naturally requires without feeling any form of guilt. Because I don't really have much to comment on, but I remember a particular trending thing that is taking place in Jamaica with a female. I don't remember her name exactly, but she's speaking her truth, right? Like events that happened in her past. And she was saying that persons don't know what she's been through, or they don't look at the fact that she is a survivor of domestic abuse, but persons are quick to judge her and drag her down. So when she's speaking her truth, I'm not really that cup of tea type of person with the vulgarity and the way in which persons go about voicing their opinion. But I like the fact that she came out, voiced her opinion, and she didn't care what the public has to say. Because guess what? Persons are always going to talk. She do anything wrong in voicing her story. If you don't like what she's voicing, you just simple skip past her video. Don't listen to it. But anyways, ability isn't loud. Rather, it is honest. So as I stated before, she's being honest to herself and voicing her opinion, and not only her opinion, her story, right? And the guilt we feel when we stop shrinking often comes from conditioning, from being taught that our fullness is intimidating, that our confidence is arrogant, that our growth must be negotiated. But the truth is, the people who benefit from you being small will always call your expansion a problem. And guess what? That's okay. As I stated before, you don't care what the world has to say. Just be your one and true authentic self, right? And you're not meant to be digestible. You're meant to be real. So stepping into your full presence is not an act of rebellion. It is an act of self-respect. It is saying, I trust myself enough to be seen. It's understanding that you don't need to shrink to be loved. The right love meets you at your full size. So this season is about embodiment, about showing up without apology and letting your evolution be visible, even if it makes others feel uncomfortable in your life right now. Softening your truth or editing yourself to stay in the places that you weren't meant to be. Let this be a reminder. You don't owe anyone your presence or your disappearance or your comment. So voice your truth, whether or not they like it or not. To leave with you today in this episode is that you need to be smaller to be loved. You need to be yourself, as I stated before. Be your one true authentic self, darling. So thank you for stepping into season 2 with me, your host, Britannia. And if this episode resonates and make you feel truly honest about yourself and you becoming the best version of yourself, I'd like you to like, subscribe, and comment and join our community at Unscripted Rebirth, where we grow, we evolve, and become the best version of ourselves. And I like to leave you with this. Never dim your light for anyone. So see you until the next episode. Bye.